Hello, this is Dana, and today I'm going to share my Effexor story. And it goes back at least 10 years ago when I had been prescribed Effexor for depression. I was seeing just a family doctor in which he was the one who prescribed it. And after a certain amount of time, like 9 or 10 months, I felt that I wasn't getting the same results. And I am not sure if I just built up an intolerance to it, or if I just have sensitivities, but for whatever reason, I just felt as if it was not giving me the same benefits that it did in the beginning. So I went to my family physician, who was the individual who prescribed Effexor, and I requested that he taper me from this medication. And upon asking him to gently, slowly taper me, he said no. He said, just stop taking it. And I was surprised. I didn't expect that response from him, and which I questioned. Is this safe to abruptly stop an antidepressant when it's been in your body for a certain length of time? And I wasn't really feeling comfortable with just abruptly stopping it. Common sense was kind of shouting to me, don't do it. This is not safe. And so I questioned him again, in which personally I felt he was a bit arrogant. Those who have gone to doctors who have questioned them, there are times we might have a positive response from doctors when we question what they're doing or what they're prescribing. And other times we may have an arrogant response where they have this like holier than thou kind of attitude, that they're like God and they know it all. And we're just the patient. We're not supposed to say anything. We're supposed to be the helpless, passive patient and just keep quiet and do as they say. And nevertheless, that was in my earlier years when, even though my gut intuition was telling me to not stop taking this drug abruptly, I pretty much was in a position where if he was not coming on board to assist in this taper, it left me abandoned and on my own. And based on the fact that I did not know what to do, I stopped taking the drug. I mean, I look back now and I think, oh, I wish I would have done some serious research. I wish I would have considered maybe switching doctors. I wish I would have looked into options or how to slowly, gradually just taper off this drug. However, a lot of times when our doctors don't help us to taper, we are placed in a very vulnerable position and it could leave us in harm's way. And so my story is this. I stopped taking Effexor, and within days, I had heightened depression, anxiety, heart palpitations, insomnia. I felt like I wanted to jump out of my skin. I was so nervous. And prior to that, I really didn't have a lot of nervous energy. And so I thought that was a little odd. Anyways, I started getting all these negative side effects, and I knew that it was related to discontinuing Effexor. And I wasn't sure how to handle it because, I went cold turkey because the doctor told me to, and I'm just following his orders. And yet it put me in a very desperate position. And so a couple weeks went by, and as the days progressed, and as these weeks progressed, I became more desperate. I became more anxious. I had more panic, more insomnia, just this overall feeling of unease, of not being well, of having just so much turmoil within me. And it was not a pretty picture. It was a really nasty experience. And I was getting up in the morning to go to work one day, and I just felt like crap, just felt awful. And my anxiety was really, really increasing that day. And I'm driving to work, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't even think that I could actually function today. I feel so horrible, and I have such anxiety, and I have such, a rapid heartbeat and all of these horrible negative symptoms I don't believe I would be doing myself a favor or my boss a favor if I go into work. And so right then and there, I made my decision. And I admit it was probably impulsive, but looking back, I think it was actually a really great decision and the best decision. And so I drove myself to the emergency room, and I went into the emergency room, and then I was seen and checked by a physician, in which he asked me what was going on. And I explained that I had been prescribed Effexor and I wanted to taper from this drug. And my family physician refused to gently taper me, and instead he abruptly stopped the drug. In which this physician from the ER said, "I can't believe this doctor would do that to you. And I suggest you fire your doctor. Just fire your doctor. Do not ever go back to this person. It was so unethical what they did to you. It is dangerous what they did to you. And it's unsafe." And from there, the doctor at the ER then suggested that I visit another physician. So he referred me to someone else. And which at that time, because I was having so much anxiety over this withdrawal, I mean, literally, I was going through a wicked withdrawal from Effexor because you don't cold turkey it. And this doctor had me cold turkey it. So the story is that he had me seeing a new physician, and he also had me start going a few times a week for this group therapy that was supposed to help you work on stress and help you work on different things to do with self-care and to promote wellness. And so nevertheless, that's what happened. I mean, I was in a position where there was a gap of time between going to the ER and then starting this little weekly therapy visit, this group therapy, and then seeing the physician who was on board of that facility. There was a gap of time. It left me in a really rotten place. I personally think they should have done something like right then and there. Like, even if it meant prescribing me another antidepressant just to kind of get me over the edge. Nevertheless, that's not what happened. And what did happen is I had to wait until I could see the new doctor. So the experience and the takeaway from this is, number one, if your doctor ever tells you to just abruptly stop an antidepressant or a tranquilizer or some pharmaceutical drug, I mean, even if it's like heart medicine, diabetes medicine, high blood pressure medicine, you name it, I don't care what the drug is. I mean, the basic takeaway is this: we never, ever abruptly stop a drug. And if a physician advises us to discontinue a drug and make it very abrupt, and they don't help us in this gentle taper procedure, that is a red flag in which we may need to seek, whether it is going to the ER, whether it is seeking another appointment with a new physician, going online and doing research and coming up with some healthy alternatives. Basically, you have to arm yourself. And of course, here it is 10 years later. The Effexor withdrawal was probably the least of my worries, because in the future then, and if you watch other videos, I had experienced 10 times worse with benzodiazepines, which is Ativan, and Cymbalta. So I experienced 10 times worse horror stories with those drugs. But I still believe, looking back, that it was a learning experience, and it taught me something about my own self. And that, number one, when you have a gut intuition and it's speaking to you, and it might be just the soft, silent voice, and it might be saying, that's not right, or I don't feel comfortable with that decision, or I really feel that this could put me in a very dangerous position. Tune in and listen to your gut intuition. I mean, I now look back and I think my gut intuition has never, ever steered me wrong. And when I was younger, I wish that I would have listened to it. I'm older now, and with age comes wisdom. So I have come a long way, and I'm actually free of all pharmaceuticals. It has been 6 years of being off of Prozac, Adderall, and benzodiazepines. It's 7 years no longer taking Cymbalta. I am totally free from all pharmaceuticals. I have decided to basically leave Western medicine. I mean, Western medicine failed me. Western medicine steered me in the wrong direction. And there's a whole lot more that go into it, which isn't for this video today. But the short of it is that when I made that decision in 2010 to discontinue Western medicine and to no longer do invasive procedures or any pharmaceuticals, and instead to focus on clean nutrition, to focus on self-care, natural alternatives, holistic medicine, it has really turned my life around. So for anyone who is struggling on Effexor or any pharmaceuticals, there is hope. So I am a living proof today. So I'm free of medications. I don't use medications. I love essential oils. I love L-Theanine, which is an amino acid that is green tea and black tea, and it's awesome. I call L-Theanine my chill pill, and it helps with sleep. It helps if you do have a little bit of depression or anxiety or nervousness, restlessness, can't sleep. I really believe that it works for me, and I can't speak for you. And, you know, as a medical disclaimer, I'm going to be honest, you know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physician. I can't cure you, treat you. I can't guarantee that what works for me will work for you, but I can say that each person has their own healing journey. Each person has to choose wellness, and it can mean something different for each of us because we're all unique people. We have a different medical background. We have a different history of the ailments and conditions and things that are going on in our body and mind. But in my own case, I believe that holistic medicine and clean nutrition, especially going gluten-free and eating more of a plant-based diet, has just significantly improved my health. It has turned my health around. And mind you, I do have fibromyalgia, herniated discs, and a lot of other medical issues. But despite an autoimmune condition, despite being diagnosed with depression, I am thriving. You know, I am living a life that is far more a higher quality of life than I did when I took pharmaceuticals or focused on traditional medicine. And so today I'm just asking you to do your own research, become your own health advocate. If you want to check out any of my wellness or inspirational posts on my website, go to danaarcuri.com. And feel free to share your own experiences with Effexor. And I'm going to end on this note. Please don't cold turkey. It is dangerous, and a slow taper is beneficial. Thank you, and have an awesome day. Bye-bye.